Welcome back to Meaningful Conversations with Beata. I am Beata Seweryn-Reid, your host. I'm so happy to be here with you every Tuesday at noon Mountain Standard Time. Why? Because I believe that we need more meaning in life, we need more courage in life. I want you to become a change maker, raise your awareness, inspire transformation, and take responsibility for your own life. How do I do it? I bring other change makers, great influencers that were able to change their lives, and they're gonna share their own story, how it was possible for them, so you can follow. Today, I'm so honored to have with me Kami Guildner. Kami believes women's voices matters. She is a connector, she is a storyteller, a success coach for women, and host of the widely successful Extraordinary Women radio show. Kami's soulful spirit leads her clients to unleash their magical manifestation powers and live large, full of courage and bravery. Welcome to the show, Kami. I'm so excited to have you here.
Well, thank you so much, Beata. I'm thrilled to be here with you, and I love everything that you're talking about. Meaningful conversations. I was a yes very fast.
Thank you so very much, Kami. So I don't know a lot about you except that you are such a great person, influencer, and leader for other women to step up in their lives and voice their stories. But there is something that I'm very curious about. Have you lived this large life always? Because there is a story that really brings my attention to. You said in one of your interviews that it was a horse that led you to take a leap from this comfortable life that you had working for corporation. And what then? How did it happen? Tell us about that.
Oh, thank you so much. So as you mentioned, I had been in the corporate world for many years. I had a good gig. It took me around the world. I had teams of people all around the world, and I got to see amazing things and do amazing things because of that work. And there was a point where I always say my first gift was I got laid off. And the second gift was it was the year 2008. So there was not a lot of VP marketing jobs out there. So it was, I was in this space of trying to figure out what it was I was meant to do with my life. And I actually really thought I was going to go back to the corporate world. That was what I thought my journey was going to take me, because that's where I'd always been. And I took a long period of time, about 17 months actually. And I had slowed down, and I had gotten out in nature, reconnected with a lot of friends, and, just spent a lot of time reconnecting to me, frankly, because, I was feeling, I'd been going at such a pace that I really wasn't in this space of taking care of myself when I was in the corporate world. I'd kind of let that all go. And I had been going on some interviews, and I wasn't excited about them. I was like, I hope I don't get that job. I was on the phone with my coach, and I was telling her, I just don't know what I'm supposed to do. And I was actually in tears that day. I was upset. I was like, I don't think I want to do those jobs that I'm interviewing for, but I don't know what the heck I'm supposed to do. And what she said to me on that day was, well, why don't you go out and breathe your horse's breath today? And I was like, okay. I've been a horse person my whole life, but sure, I'll follow that advice. So it had snowed about 18 inches of snow that day. And I decided that I walked out to the barn. I put my snow boots on, walked out to the barn. And I had, my mare was standing at the gate. It was real cold and frosty out. And I leaned down and started to just breathe in some of her breath. And it was, it was like frosty, steamy breath, right? It's like we were going back and forth and breathing. And then I turned around and I turned my back to her back, and I stood there kind of leaning into her. And I had this moment of, oh my gosh, I'm not supposed to go back to the corporate world. You know, all these jobs that I've been interviewing for, they're not speaking to you for a reason. You're supposed to do something different. And so I went back in the house shortly thereafter and started journaling. And by the end of the day, I was signing up to become get some coach training, and just the whole thing just started to spiral on this beautiful upward journey that took me down the pathway of
Wow.
starting my business. And that was 11 years ago now. So
11 years is a magic number, yeah?
Exactly. It is the 2 ones, right?
Yes. Wow. So if you can give us the taste, like tangible moments, what does it mean for Kami to live large life out loud? What does it mean for you? How do you feel it, so we can taste it?
Sure. When I think about living large and living life out loud, I feel like knowing what our purpose is, knowing, doing the work to understand why we're here. I believe that every one of us is here on this earth for a reason, and we have an impact that we're meant to make. And so finding and getting aligned with that is number one. It's at its core. And then it takes courage, right? Once you know that, once you know what you're meant to be doing and how you're meant to do it, how you're meant to be doing it, it takes courage to start showing up and being really visible in it, right? Because you can know it, and then you can kind of hide back, right? And not really step into it. And so when you start living large, it's you stepping up into your message, into your voice, into your visibility. And so that's one aspect of it. And then the other aspect of it is really living a life that you love. I mean, it's living a life that is full of joy and passion, and you're on fire with this energy of excitement that you're bringing into the world and how you're making a difference. And so it's both sides of it. It's knowing your purpose, but it's also and stepping into it. And then it's also doing it in a way that just lights you up, so that you're really on fire with the how you spend your time, right? You're doing things you love. And that's, I think, the big core part of that.
Wow. So I just want to highlight what you just said. First of all, you said, know what is your purpose and that you are aligned with it. Then you said, have courage. Then when you find your purpose, you feel it, you have the courage to be visible to. And the first one, it was step into this beautiful life that is around you. And well, now that just brings another question for me. What in your experience is the number one characteristic that is stopping us women or humans from saying yes to the life that we feel that we deserve and want to live? What is that one, the number one in your experience?
It's our fear. It's our mindset. It's the little voice that kind of goes around in your head and says, oh, don't step into that space. It might be scary for you, right? And tries to get you to hold back and play smaller. And, so recognizing when that voice starts to show up and say, thanks, I've got this anyway. I'm going to step into this. I'm being called to show up and to live a larger life than that. So really, I think that's the piece that holds so many women back, and we all have it, and I think that's a really important thing is we're all going to have, if you're an entrepreneur and you're stepping into really meaningful life or meaningful work, you're going to have moments where there's a little bit of self-doubt or a little bit of fear or, all those little pieces that might just have you pull back a little bit. And what I invite your listeners to do is to say, you know what, I've got this. I'm going forward into it anyway. And you start to stretch. And so then you really develop that stretch muscle so that you can stretch into the possibilities in your life and how you show up. And that's where the magic really starts to happen.
That's beautiful. Before I ask you another question, I just want to say thank you to everyone who is with us. I have Garlene saying, good evening, ladies. Hi, Garlene. And she's saying, hi, Kami and Beata. Hi. And we have Michael Bridgman, which is another awesome speaker, coach, and friend. Thank you guys for being with us. If you have any questions live, she is live with us right here. You have any questions, please do not hesitate to ask. So for what you just said, it brings to my attention that life is unpredictable, and this doubt that we have and fear is caused because we don't know if the next step that we will do, we don't know what is gonna really bring it. So we are in fear. And right now, come on, we are all living in the same spot where the fear is kind of similar to all of us and uncertainty around. And I'm wondering, living in these challenging times, how you and your clients, how do you embrace that kind of challenging times?
Sure. I mean, what a crazy year, right? I mean, we could have never, ever guessed what this year was how it was going to unfold for us. And I'll tell you that it's been really an interesting year of a journey with my clients, right? I mean, it's been when COVID started to first roll out in March, right? When these pieces first started to show up. And what I noticed with my client base really quickly was they had a lot of emotions and a lot of feelings. And we actually created a Marco Polo room for my clients where they could come and they could just show up and however they were on that given day and give voice to it, right? To have a place to come, a safe circle amongst others where whatever those feelings and those emotions were on that day, to give them a space to be able to give voice to it and to lean into one another, right? And I think that was a really important step. And as what happened was, on one day somebody be really up and excited about something happening and somebody be down. And then the next day, it might switch around. And so there was this space for conversation was really, really important, I think, in this year. And to be able to lean into one another when things just didn't feel like they were, we just didn't know where things were going to go, right? And then the second part of that was really starting to think about, okay, well, what are my gifts and how am I meant to show up? And I would ask my clients the same thing. Who's your community and how are you meant to serve them through this time? Mm-hmm. And so when I stopped and asked myself this, it was like, okay, this is what my community needs. They need a little bit more extra space, but then they also need that juice, if you will, to go out and serve their communities in bigger ways, to listen to their communities, to hear what it was their communities were needing. And so when they started to listen to their own communities, they could go out and help and serve their communities at the same time. And so it becomes a ripple effect, right? Each, me serving my communities, them serving their communities. And together, we were able to, create a bigger impact. We were able to lift each other up and go do the work that we're meant to do on this earth. And to me, it wasn't a time to play, to hide. And there was times where we had to take care of ourselves and to listen to those inner emotions and all those things there. But then it's like, take care of ourselves and then go do the work that we're meant to do because we were needed. I mean, and I think that was a big piece of it. It is, all of us were needed to go out and serve in some sort of way. And that's been kind of the mantra is like, how do we go out and serve our communities this year?
Oh my God, that is so wonderful because it's just telling you all and me that we are not alone. Go and find your tribe and they will support you. They will lift you up if you feel down. That is so beautiful. Yes. And I just want to mention that the topic that I picked today for our conversation, courage to live large, is one of Kami's mantra, which I love. So how mantras lead your life? Like, why mantras?
Yeah, I think, because otherwise we can get caught into the noise all around us, right? I mean, there's so much noise that
Yeah,
you can look from social media to the news, and you have to limit how much you can take in. I certainly do anyway. But when I think about having mantras, it gives me a guidepost, right? And as I'm pausing to think about, okay, what do I want to make happen in this week? If I'm asking myself that mantra, where do I want to stretch, right? Where's that? And those mantras can help us remember to do that. So that otherwise it's just an intention that we can put out there. Otherwise, if we don't do that, we can just be in our very comfortable spot. And we're not going to do amazing, extraordinary things being in a comfortable spot. We have to be able to stretch and step into spaces that may not be as comfortable.
Beautiful. Well, did you just hear it, or everyone who is hearing us now or later? Where are you comfortable? Maybe too comfortable. And where do you need to stretch in your life? Which area is screaming to you, please, I can live larger?
Yes.
So thank you for that words. And I see we have a question from Garlene, if you want to answer that. What keeps you going in life, Kami?
What keeps me going? And I'm going to just keep reading that. I learned to accept the fact that challenges are overcome by self-motivation first. What is your take? What keeps me going? What keeps me going is I have written down my purpose. I know why I'm here, what my goals are, and I have big goals. So I have, when I sat down and wrote my purpose statement, probably about 7 years ago at this point, it was about impacting 1 million women, helping them really step into their passion and their purpose, and to grow their companies in a way that is getting their voice out in bigger ways. So I sat down and wrote that, and 1 million women is a lot of women, right? And it's not about me necessarily touching 1 million women individually, but it's the ripple effect that happens in the world. And so when I think about that number and that goal, that to me gets me doing things in a bigger way, right? So that gets me doing things when it's a challenging day. I can look at that and go, okay, so today is a challenging day, and giving myself grace when there's challenging days, because frankly, there is going to be challenging days, but also keeping that vision of of how I want to make an impact with that keeps me moving when things get challenging.
This vision, just to make it clear, this vision statement can change with your growth.
Yes.
Your vision statement
totally
is changing. And I just want to point out that maybe you need to change because I think you already touched more than 1 million. So what is the next number? I'm sure you touched more than 1 million already.
Yeah, so maybe it's true to start stretching that one. You're right. It's so funny you said that, because somebody else said that to me just recently, and I was like, okay, well, maybe there is a new number that I need to look at. And at the same time, it inspires me still. So thank you for that. I appreciate it.
Absolutely. Well, and why I'm saying that, because I mentioned, but you probably, the viewers and the listeners, you might not know that Kami, she has this wonderful community called Extraordinary Women Connect, and also radio, Empowered. Extraordinary Women or Empowered
Radio.
Women.
Extraordinary Women Radio.
I'm sorry. Yeah, I got confused.
That's all right.
But I listen to you often, and this is it helps me to grow. And because I know that I listen and my friends are listening. So that's why I think you already touched the 1 million and with your voice out there. So how do you define extraordinary women?
Well, I think we all have an extraordinary woman inside of us, right? And it's really letting that woman come out and shine and dance, and dancing in that light of who you are. I mean, and that's really what it's about, and making the impact with it, right? Because we were given gifts in a way that are meant to make an impact. And, I mean, I just think of the work that you're doing and how you make a difference. And it's that sort of thing that makes us all extraordinary. Right. And it's such an honor to tell stories, to tell the stories. I mean, I want to hear more of your story. I want to know, what journey have you been on to get to this place? Because that's the stuff that just lights me up.
That's beautiful. Well, you just said it was my next question. What lights you up? But now we know stories of other women that had to do ordinary things or live ordinary life to step up to extraordinary.
Exactly.
And live larger.
And it's when I think about all the women that I've gotten to interview over the years, it's like so much fun. I mean, it's it's really, really fun. So,
and there is no same story. Yeah. Like,
no.
Oh my gosh, every story is so different.
Yeah. There's no same story, but there's some themes and I think one of the things that, it's really helped me in my growth is just to hear someone who's just built multi-million-dollar companies or those sorts of things, talking about the fear that they run into on a daily basis, or talking about when life gets challenging, how do they maneuver through it? And it's those stories to me that actually gets me excited, because then it's it just puts us all on the same level playing field, right? It's oh, they go through that and I go through that. And so then, you realize that you just keep moving and learning the skill sets to really break through when you get fear, or when you get, those that crazy voice, that inner critic at the back of your mind telling you, it's hush, I don't need to hear that. And it's gosh, that person who's so admirable gets that. So, and they know how to deal with it. So then it just gives you a way to keep moving through that.
I love what you just said, because my show is about that, to show others so they can hear you're not alone in your pain or struggles, wherever you are in your life. All of us have been there, or maybe we are going through this right now, or we are going to hit that wall, but there is an exit, and we are the examples. Like Kami is the big example, great influencer. So Kami, my next question is, we are just 4 months away from approaching 2021. 2020 was a huge surprise. So as we look in the future, that might be, because of what is happening now, a little bit dimmed and maybe not quite clear to all women out there, men as well. And what are the 3 things that you would encourage everyone who is listening to us right now to stop playing small and actually step into this life that they deserve and dream about, but are too scared maybe with what we are going through to say yes to?
So what are 3 things to help step into that? Yeah. Right. I would start with the question of what else is possible in your work and your business. I love that question, because so often we can see our business and we can see our world in a way that is just right in front of us, right? It's here's what's there. And if you can look up and think, what else is possible? You start to get new ideas. So that one question is such a powerful thing to journal on, to think about, and start dreaming big with that, right? Don't play small with it, dream big with it, and start thinking, okay, well, what can I do with this? And put some energy into it. 2, I would say really start to think about how you are serving your clients right now, right? This, what is it? Go out, listen, really hear the conversations that your clients are having right now. And what are they aspiring to? So really start to speak to what they aspire to. And that is a little bit different than what a lot of marketing business coaches will teach you. They'll say, I'll focus all on all their pain, and you solve the pain, and focus on the scarcity. And I say, oh, hell no, don't do that. Oops, I don't know if I'm supposed to.
No, absolutely. You be you.
Okay. So if you actually switch over to what your clients are aspiring to versus what they're, afraid of, or what they're, where the scarcity lies and the fears and all those sorts of things. If you change over your marketing over and start speaking to what your clients aspire to, you're going to really elevate how you are showing up and how you are resonating in the world, right? I mean, just because you're taking you're up leveling your marketing messaging in a way that is higher vibrational energy of marketing. So that's my second piece to this. The third thing that I would say for 2021, and I think this is really perhaps the most important thing that we can do, is to really think about how we do resonate as entrepreneurs, as people. Are we on a high vibrational energy, or are we on a lower vibrational energy? And we're going to have both, right? We're going to have days where we're just kind of low vibe, but learning to just turn that up a little bit at a time when we're feeling low vibe, and starting to say, okay, what's the way that I'm going to vibrate at on a higher level? And there's 4 components to this, and I'm going to go through them real quickly.
Sure.
So the 4 components to how do you change how you resonate, which is what I call the R factor, by the way. The R factor is how we resonate. The first one is our mindset. So pay attention to what's the stories we're telling in our mind on a day-to-day basis. Do we have are we telling ourselves a lot of negative self-talk, or are we talking more about the possibilities and being more expansive in what's happening in those little conversations, those little stories that are going through our head day in and day out? So, really work to move that. And that might mean doing meditations. It might just be switching up the stories and catching those stories when we hear that negative self-talk. So it's really paying attention to mindset. The second part of that is our body, and paying attention to how we nourish our body, how we move our body, how we take care of our energetic body. All of that is a way that our body is a vehicle of energy, right? And so if we are taking care of our body, we're going to resonate on a higher level. The third part of that is spirit. And spirit, however you spirit, everybody spirits differently, but know what your purpose is. Know how it is that you tap into that deep, soulful language of yourself, that inner wisdom in you, and make the space for spirit in your life. And then the fourth component of our factor is our communities. And we touched base on this a little bit earlier. And being in communities that raise you up and are speaking to, that are, when we're in a group of people that are really helping you level up some, versus communities that are kind of pulling you down. So really be aware of who you're spending the most time with, and keep choosing wisely on who you're spending your time with. So those are the 4 factors around our factor. So there's the mindset, the body, the spirit, and the community. And when you look at, if you're taking care of those on a daily basis, you are going to be resonating on a high vibrational journey. And you will be attracting more clients into your business. You will be stepping into things that you love doing. And so those are just areas to really, if you make it a practice and make touchstones in your life every day on those 4 components, you will resonate on a really high vibe. So as you step into 2021, you are ready to go out and serve your clients.
Wow. Thank you so much for sharing that. I love it. R factors: mindset, body, spirit, community. Wow.
Yes.
Please, everyone, share with others, because they need to hear it. Mindset, body, spirit, community. And when you were talking about the last one, community, it's so important to be surrounded with someone who will level up you, because they see more probably at the moment in you than you can see in yourself. because you are maybe not on this high vibe level yet. And
Yep.
it just brings to my attention these two words: collaboration versus competition.
Oh, yes.
Find people that will collaborate with you instead of competing, and stealing clients. I just,
Yeah.
it's not
Totally
my
agree.
community. Yeah. So I'm so happy and excited that you were here. You are with me. I have still Garlene saying choosing wise souls around is really important. Totally agree. I connect larger than life souls. Awesome. Thank you. And
Way to
she
go,
said,
Garlene.
great. Yes, great tips. Yes. So please, everyone, whoever is listening, share this episode with people who might really need to hear it so they can step up in their life and business right now before 2021 will be here. My sister is here. Thank you so much, sister. I love you too. And my last question is how people can connect to you. What is the best way to find about Kami, and what is the best way to connect with Kami and see her great large life and how largely she impacts people around, especially women around the world?
Oh, thank you so much. So it's the best place to connect with me is over in my Extraordinary Women Connect Facebook group. So it is, you had mentioned it earlier, it's a great place to come and be in community with other women. And it's very much in alignment with what you're talking about, that collaboration alignment. And it's all about connecting great women to great women. I have a lot of my podcast guests come and join us there. And so it's really a great place to be. And then my website is kamiguildner.com. So thank you so much.
Absolutely. I have couple links right there for you. People, please reach out. And you can just Google Kami Guildner, and I promise you, she is out there. She's part of it. Yes, you're gonna find everything because she already touched million souls, million women around the world, and not only, because plus their families and friends and their communities, I'm sure it's more than 1 million. So I'm waiting for the next number from Kami.
Okay, Beata.
And is there any last thought, last advice or quote, your favorite quote that you would like to leave our audience with?
Well, excuse me. I think what I'll just say is find your light, find your that fire dancer in you, right? You've got a fire in you. Tend to her, love on her, let her come out and play, let her shine her light out in the world, and you will be living your life out loud, large, and bold.
Thank you so very much for that. And it was so touching that I have chills actually. So yeah, it's Kami. Please reach out, find out, connect, because she is changing lives. Everyone, thank you for being here with me every Tuesday at noon. My name is Beata Seweryn-Reid. You can find a little bit more about me on my website, beatalifecoaching.com. Please be here with me next Tuesday. For now, I just wish you grow and courage to step into your desired life. It's possible. It's possible for me. It's possible for Kami. So it's possible for you as well. Thank you. Namaste.
Thank you, Beata.